something new. We're trying something new today. We're trying something new. Let me just move this out the way. Let me move that. Let's wait and see if anybody joins. This was completely unexpected. I'm just testing some stuff, but I figure why not turn this test into an actual conversation with some Bulls fans. If we get people in here, we'll see. I don't really expect it. I know my channel isn't like the largest or anything, so I don't expect a random live stream for my channel to really go off. Um, but let me know if you guys are in here. Let me know something. Holla at me. I just really wanted to test to make sure everything is going all right. What's going on? What's going on, bro? I see you in the chat. Can you hear me okay? Tell me how the audio and stuff sounds because I'm on a different side of the studio I usually stream from. Because I this is the so I have like my it's better to live stream from this side. The other side is like better equipped for like pre-recording. So I just wanted to make sure everything was good here. So let me know how everything sounds, if you can hear me okay, everything like that. But I figured, like I said, while we're here, might as well have a I don't know if I want to call it like a prep rally or whatever, because it's not prep, it's professional. But let's have some pregame conversation about the Bulls Nuggets tonight. Let me know what you guys are expecting. I do think that Jokic is going to have a super just big game against us tonight. I feel that the Bulls, they really don't have anyone who can defend on one-on-one. Even if they did, you can't really stop Joker at all. But I just think he's going to have a big night. I think the key are going to be what the Bulls do with everything else around Joker, and especially with like Michael Porter Jr. being out, which who knows when he's going to be back. It sucks that he has such a significant injury after signing that big deal, but the Bulls are really they got to use this game to get back momentum and everything like that. And I think one thing about me that I guess we can start this off on like this live stream and this kind of part of the conversation on is like I really don't see the Bulls going on like some big long losing streaks this season. Not to say that they won't lose back-to-back games at times, but I just don't see it like the way that this team is, how scrappy this team is, unless there's something that's gone terribly, terribly wrong. I just don't see that for the Bulls. But weirder things have happened. So, but that's just what I think, and how much I trust this team and everything, and just their resolve. I know last game sucked. It's not that we don't have things that we don't need to work on. Zach needs to trust his team a little bit more. But I mean, really, when you look at it, this team is playing so much better than most teams that like have this many new pieces. Like I think sometimes we forget just because of how early the Bulls really kind of solidified the main part of the roster. Just these guys haven't played together long at all. What Zach and Kobe are the only two people, and Patrick Williams, who started the team off last season on the team, and they're still here. Everybody else was added in the last year. So like there's still the team started off so good, right? That I think we forget that there's still some chemistry, there's still some kinks that need to be worked out. I think even when you look at it, it could be even scarier because the efficiency can just get that much more better. This team can continue to learn how to play together, and if they do, it's going to be big. And I know why, like as fans, we start thinking because we know that we have a hole at the four, right? And we start thinking of everything the Bulls can do to trade. And really, when you stop and think about it, like there are some names that could really help the Bulls that are probably going to be on the buyout market. AK and Eversley aren't going to be in a rush to make any deal, any type of knee-jerk reactions, especially when you look at the players that they can add on the buyout market. It's probably it's no need to really trade away any assets unless it's something that you just really don't see going into the future of this team. So like when you look at like Derek Favors, Tristan Thompson, who can both be really big players for this team as far as like fixing what we don't have. Derek Favors specifically, and I can't remember which one. It was a subscriber that really pointed out that Derek Favors would almost be perfect for what the Bulls do in a couple of videos ago when I talked about it, and specifically because of what Derek Favors offers off on the offensive rebounding side, right? It's what he does offensively with rebounding. A lot of people don't. Most people's rebounding, if you look at it, are defensive reboundings, but especially with the Bulls being a team that doesn't rebound, they're 29th in the league in offensive rebounding. So if you can add a player like Derek Favors, whether he starts or comes off the bench and has that offensive rebounding, as well as he's solid on defense. He's not the defender he once was, but very solid in that area and can score some as well. I really think and the Thunder aren't going to keep Derek Favors. You don't think they're probably going to try to trade him, and there may be a team that bites on that trade. But overall, coming into February, they're probably going to end up buying him out. Tristan Thompson is a possibility there as well. I like what he can bring. Also, I think, as fans, we think what are the best players that we can possibly get, and really the Bulls don't need another superstar or even a star really at the four. They just need a solid player who can go out there and be reliable. And I trust AK and Eversley that they're going to fix that and solidify that part of our bench before we go into the playoffs. Because as we know and as we trust, the Bulls are going to gear up for a playoff run. I just refuse to believe anything else. So because of that, yeah, really, what do you guys think about this side of the studio as well? Since we're talking Bulls, let me know what you guys think down below. But also, since I'm working some things out, because I like that I don't have to have a mic right in my face on this side of the studio because I have this overhead mic. And one day I don't know if you guys are interested. Like, so I've been podcasting for a while. But my other podcast that I do is more geared towards like Black culture and mental health and self help and stuff like that. And I do behind the scenes stuff there. I don't really know if you guys care on the sports channel or not, but it is. Let me know if you guys ever want to see behind the scenes of the studio, because I'm really proud of this. Like, I built this studio on my own. It's a $20,000 studio, so I'm proud of everything that goes into it. I need to start using a little bit more. But let's get off that. Let's get back onto the Bulls. Tonight's going to be a big night. I'm going to try to go live after the game. That's part of why I'm testing this now before, is because I want to make sure that by the time it's after the game, if I decide to go live, all I got to do is flip a switch and everything's ready to go. But yeah, I don't know if you guys saw my dogs running around. I don't know if they can show up on camera. They're big dogs, but let me know what you guys feel about the team so far. What are some of the things that so far this season that have been better than probably what you were thinking coming into the season? What are some things that have been worse? I'd say for me, the offense is, even as solid as the offense is. I really thought the offense, we were probably going to be rated in like the top 3 in the offense, really, when you looked at the offensive weapons we have. And it's not that it's disappointing, right? Because I love where the team sits as both offensive and defensively. You can't be perfect with everything. But that's probably something that I didn't expect coming into the season, was our defense being ranked higher than our offense, but I'm glad that it is. It's not a bad thing, especially we've been keeping up the defensive intensity all season, no matter who's been out or whatever. Yeah, and DeMar is just, let's talk about DeMar DeRozan. And, DeMar, a player who has gotten shitted on the second half of his career because the Toronto Raptors traded for a better player and finally came out the East and won the title in the year LeBron also left the East. But DeMar is really showing that he has so much left, so much left. And I was on record for saying, like, I expected DJ. I'm sorry, not DJ. I was reading the comment that I expected DeMar to maybe regress some and it still be fine because he's on an improved team and he's not looked at to do much. Now here he is leading our team in scoring, top 5 scoring in the NBA as well. I'm gonna start putting some of these comments on this one. Definitely not a big fan of DJJ, Derrick Jones Jr. At the center spot. Would love to have someone with better size. Yeah, for sure. I think, right now, Derrick Jones Jr. isn't going to play a lot of center once we're back to full health. I do like him at the 4. I will say that. With his energy, his bounce, his shot blocking, I do like him at the 4. At the 5, no, not at all. Something else I'm surprised about is why we don't see more Alizé Johnson. Like, Alizé was playing really good in the preseason, I thought. And then the time he showed he's active, right? His scoring, his shooting isn't what I was expecting it to be coming into the season, but I really do think I just wonder what's going on there to where Billy Donovan isn't really trusting Alizé Johnson out there more. I wouldn't say that it's necessarily a matchup thing because we're so undersized in general anyway, but you would think that, like, with his energy rebounding and everything, we would see more from him. So I don't know what's going on there. I don't know. I don't know if he's like, because there's things that we don't see as fans, right? Like, what type of offensive packages are they supposed to be running? What are they supposed to be doing defensively? Maybe he's getting out of position. So like Alizé not playing more, especially at the 4 right now when Vooch is out, it's been really surprising to me. But that's something. Another comment here from Cap Lives. Offense can be better. We can't have Levine and DeMar to revert to ISO as often. Completely agree with that. Completely agree. And part of that I really do think is they've done what's needed to be done with Vooch's season starting off at such a decline, right? So to say, like, and hopefully the slump that he's in, like, we started to see him come out of it before he got put in the COVID protocol or safety protocol. Hopefully YouTube doesn't ding me for saying COVID on a live stream, but Yeah. I think it's a result of that. Some the saying. Then don't forget, like, as well as Lonzo's been playing, anything inside of the 3-point line, he's been terrible at just about. So really, when you look at like what and when Patrick Williams was in, he wasn't giving us anything offensively. Even when he's been out, like Javonte Green is solid, right? And he can make open shots, but it's not like you want to rely on him really with offense. So when you look at it, it kind of makes sense why they're reverting to iso ball. Not that I'm excusing it or saying that it's winning basketball. It's what the way that we should be playing all season. Because no, I agree with you. We need to come out of that. But I think as everyone starts getting more in rhythm, we'll start seeing that happen naturally more. I hope so, because iso ball is not going to cut it in the playoffs. It's not. It's not going to cut it even later on in the season when people have more tape on this Bulls team, and that's something that we forget as well too. Like this Bulls team is so new, and people didn't know how they were going to work together, that there's still not a lot of game tape for teams to really research how the Bulls are going to play. Also, we're still rebounding from several injuries and people aren't playing their roles. So as that starts to figure out and starts to normalize, how other teams respond to how good the Bulls have been playing, and then how the Bulls respond to that is really going to be telling what how easy the Bulls offense is going to continue to be for the rest of the season. I feel. Let's move on to the next one. Go get a pop. It's not that. Listen, and I don't say this to be competitive, right? Because as fans, we sit there and we have nothing but time to think about. Oh, the Bulls need this. The Bulls can do this. That it's just not that simple. Yeah, the Bulls can go out and get a power forward, but is it going to be a power forward that fixes the holes that we need? Really, when you think about, especially with the aspirations that this team has, getting that fit, getting that person at the power forward who's really, because really what we're looking at them to do is fix almost everything that we don't have. We need somebody who's more solid on offense. Offensive rebounding specifically. We need someone who can block shots, because we don't have a lot of interior shot blocking. Most of our block shots, I think we actually are pretty high in the league on blocks average, but most of that's happening from our guards. But we need somebody who can guard the rim, somebody who can still fit into this offense and the flow of the offense and to be a solid passer. And they're going to get open shots. So finding a perfect power forward is not going to be easy for us. But I kind of talked about that early in the thing. It's easy just to say go get a power forward, but I don't really know. Like I said, if AK and Eversley are looking at who's going to help us in the long term as far as a playoff run, give them some time. Give them some time. We're still very early on in the season. What's going on, broski? What's going on, Anthony? Anthony is literally one of the most active people in my comments all the time. So shouts out there. I had to put you up. There. Yo, want to see Marco play or what? I do want to see Marco play, but I want to see Marco play in a way that is going to allow him to look the best, right? I don't want to see him go out there in where he's well overmatched and it just maybe affects his confidence. That's why he was originally down in the G League. So I do want to see what Marco can give us. That's why I had asked you guys one time, like, where can I find G League games? Because I'm really going to be looking at Marco wherever he plays over the course of the season and continue to see how he projects with this team going forward. It's going to be important because I like not that he can technically be a bust because he was a second round pick, but if they got this Marco pick right, if they got this right, if he ends up being a player, and we may not know that for another 3 or 4 years, but if he ends up playing into that and being a solid contributor to this team, the Bulls got a great pick there. I like to see us go after Miles Turner, to be honest, if he's bought out. And the thing is you have to think anyone who can play the power forward, right? And they know the Bulls need that role. If they get bought out, you would have to think the Bulls got to be at the top of that list, right? The Bulls have worked themselves, hopefully, into being a destination for free agents who get bought out and who want to win, who want to try to contribute to possibly a championship run. The Bulls have to be high on that list. And I would think that the way that the team has improved and has shown their play so far, that a lot of these power forwards that could possibly be bought out or possibly be traded, possibly be free agents next year, are probably looking at the Bulls like, that may be the spot for me. That may be where I can go and I can immediately come in, make an impact, even if it is just the season. Think about it. If a player is bought out and they want to be able to contribute, they want to get noticed, which is going to be on a team that's going to make a deep run and then hopefully get a better deal in the offseason next year, the Bulls got to be high on the list. I would think so. Let's move on to this one. I'm still one of the people that want Kobe traded. Will hope the team with the okay. Here's the thing, and again, this is not me being combative. This is my opinion with the show, but I thank you for sharing yours as well. Like I said, this platform isn't just for me, but I'm giving my opinion to this. Anyone else who agrees or disagrees, please feel free to put that comment in there. But the Bulls are 29th now in bench scoring. There has never been a team that has made a deep run in the playoffs with bench scoring that low. I'm not saying Kobe necessarily fixes that. I'm saying he has the potential to be that. I don't think you give up on Kobe yet. I think, especially now, his trade, you're not going to get much for Kobe right now. He's coming off an injury. The games he's played in so far, he hasn't looked great in. Unless another team just believes highly in the potential of Kobe White, you're not going to get much for him right now. So you might as well try to capitalize off that potential yourself and see what he can give you this season. That's my opinion. Now, I'm not saying not to trade Kobe White if you do get a deal that is so beneficial to the team, but I'm saying that right now, I don't, considering what I think we can get on the buyout market, I don't think you need to trade Kobe White right now, but I could be wrong, could completely be wrong. We need more from Kobe. This game's been almost okay. Kobe's coming back from injury. Of course, he's going to be a liability right now. I've been talking about that on the channel for a while. It may be a month before we see Kobe White be really comfortable out there again. The guy wasn't even able to shoot for the majority of the time that he was out, and he's a shooter, he's a scorer. So because of that, it like his conditioning should be up, but as far as his rhythm, everything, it's going to be off for a while. Especially like the Bulls haven't been playing the greatest either. Like so. I get it. I get Kobe right now. If this is what he's going to be full season, absolutely we need more for him. He needs to go, but I don't think that we need to give him time to see what he can really give us. It's Marco. Yeah, he's traveling with the Bulls. He was called up from the G League right after Vooch. I believe he's been traveling, so he's been there. He's been there. He just hasn't got any minutes. So who knows what's going on with that one? I think his defense isn't up to par. That's probably why. And I believe you're talking about Marco. Like it's a lot. Yeah, he's still young. I don't remember his age. What is he? 21, I think. If even that old, he's young. And to come in and deal with the physicality of the NBA, which is different from playing in Europe, it's a lot for somebody to learn. That's why the G League is a nice place for him. I think, and if he can get in, if the Bulls ever hold on to a big lead, and we can see some garbage minutes for him just to see the skill set or whatever else, and for him to kind of learn the offense. That's what this first year is really going to be for Marco. It's going to be conditioning, going to be gaining weight. It's going to be learning the physicality of the NBA, and it's going to be learning the offense. That's what this first year is going to be for him, I think. Javonte Green came out on ESPN NY Radio and said he sees Chicago being an F. Yes, absolutely. They have to be. Like, really, when you look at it, the Lakers, of course, they're going to be one. The Cali teams, Brooklyn, they're going to be ones. Really, their roster, like if you're a power forward, do you really get playing time on either one of those rosters? You got to think about it. Even if you're a swingman, if you're a 3-4, the Bulls have to be, because you're going to guarantee to get minutes, right? You don't have to just, unless you're just ring chasing. If you want ability to like sign a bigger deal, show that you still have something in the league or whatever else, the Bulls have to be that top free agent destination, I would think. What do you think is going to take for LaVine to re-sign? Playoffs, playing? I think LaVine's locked in. I really do. Unless these moves and the Bulls season completely tanks to where they just only win like 10 more games the rest of the season, I think LaVine is locked in Chicago. I really do. It seems like he loves the city. The organization reportedly has kept him involved in everything going on. And even that national media thing of, well, why the Bulls didn't re-sign him this offseason. Look at the money that he looks to gain by waiting till this offseason. So all of those things combined, I do think LaVine stays here. I don't question that anymore. That may come back to bite me in the ass, but I really don't question LaVine's re-signing here anymore. I just don't. I think that's a done deal. That's my point. That's my thing. It just, is he going to sign the max or is he going to qualify for that super max? That's the biggest thing here, because if it's the super max, it ends up being that $230 million. The Bulls have to clear more cap space, but really, I talked about this on one video. If it ends up being just the max, right, that $210 million contract, really Troy Brown and a couple of other of the partially guaranteed contracts really fit in that space of LaVine if the Bulls can't go into luxury tax, which is another thing that we haven't really heard or talked about. Like, is it now the Bulls still can't go into luxury tax with the new regime coming in? We don't know about that, but I guess we'll see. What do you think about Demarcus Cousins rumors? I've been on record before and said this. I think right now the Bulls should sign Demarcus Cousins. because you can get him on a minimum deal. If somebody ends up getting bought out, you can always cut Demarcus Cousins. Bringing in Demarcus Cousins, to me, you look at him to play 10, 12, 15 minutes a game. You see what he can give you. He's a body out there. He's, again, somebody that I don't think teams would necessarily leave open because of his shooting ability. Yeah, he doesn't have the athleticism, but also his ball handling as well. I like DeMarcus Cousins on this team. I understand why it probably hasn't happened, but I wouldn't if it got announced that the Bulls signed DeMarcus Cousins right now, I wouldn't be mad at that deal at all. I wouldn't be at. Yes, he absolutely needs to. If you look at his frame, right, Marco is easily one of those players you can see. If you take a picture of him at this offseason to next offseason, when like the media day or whatever, I wouldn't be surprised if Marco's body is completely changed in that year and he adds a lot of bulk and muscle. Now, how does that affect the other parts of his game? Well, it remains to be seen, but I definitely think he could do that. Kobe gets 12 tonight with a pair of threes. Who says no? I really do think this is what I think with Kobe White. It's going to be a switch, right? It's going to be that he looks uncomfortable out there. He's not really contributing. He's not shooting. So far, it's like he's taking 5 shots total since he came back. I think it's going to be the switch where he's just going to get hot and he's going to go off for like 15. And then we got Kobe White back and he's going to be more consistent over the course of the season. I can absolutely see that for Kobe White. Kobe White, thank you guys for showing. This is a random live stream for 39 of you guys to being here, man. Thank you guys so much for the support. I mean, be jumping the gun, but I don't see a scenario in which Zach leaves. He's a franchise player on a winning team with the front office in sync with him. He brought Zoe here. He's not going to leave. That's what I agree with too. When you look at like the teams that are going to have cap space next year, which this offseason has showed that even teams that don't have cap space can get free agents with sign and trade. So I wouldn't just focus on just the teams that have cap space. But even with that being said, unless he joins a super team and takes a considerable, and then even then, if he does, he's not going to get the super max that he does. If Zach LaVine wants that max money and he wants to be on a winning team with a front office that's proven, that's trying to prove that they are going to do what it takes to win, he doesn't leave at all. I don't think he leaves at all. He's definitely staying. That's why Alonzo came here. Yeah, I understand the worry. Like I said, I have Bulls fandom PTSD. I absolutely do. Everything that could possibly go wrong with the Chicago Bulls, I always think is going to go wrong. So I understand why people are still worried. Until the ink is signed, I understand the pessimism. I don't even judge people for that anymore. I don't. He's even going to take a little pay cut to make the team better. I guarantee you. Considering the deal he's been on, he's going to get paid so much more than that. I wouldn't make a couple of million a year, maybe. We'll see if he takes a cut. Jokic is listed as day-to-day and questionable for tonight's game. Oh, shit. This is my first time hearing that. Okay. That's all I'll say is okay. Okay. Trying to get all of these. Bro, they've been grooming Marco and Nikola Vucevic. They're both from Montenegro, and he's been playing professionally since he was 13. Okay. My only thing is this. Everything that's been said about Marco so far was the same thing that was said about Mirotic to a degree, right? And not that Mirotic was terrible, but we saw that it didn't go the way that we thought with Mirotic. So again, this is my Bulls fandom PTSD. I'm sitting here admitting this right now. I'm a pessimist right now. Until we have 5 years of consistently being really good in our front office making decisions, I'm always going to hold a little bit of that pessimism. But I don't doubt that. Marco seems like he's going to be a player for this team for a long time. But things have gone left before. That's all I'm going to say on that one. Again, if my pessimism is ignoring you guys, I'm sorry. I have to be honest with my takes. But I do think so pessimism aside, PTSD aside, I do trust that he's here for a reason and that they saw something in him. And he was drafted by AK. And so I trust his eye. So because of that, all trust in AK and Eversley. So that's all I got to say on that one. Potential Pat will trade, or you think the Bulls are locked in with him? I don't think Pat, again, trade value. Unless another team just sees Patrick Williams as the answer to their franchise's future, I don't think you can trade him even next offseason. We're now, rookie season, solid, right? Disappointing season. Even when he was playing, he started off with injury. he's going to be out all season. He could come back for the playoffs unless he just has an amazing playoffs. I don't think Pat is really going to have super big trade value to his potential of what he could be. So I don't think they look to move him unless they're getting a guaranteed superstar with more upside. Kobe's going to score 10 tonight. From your mouth to God's ear, my brother. Zion and Jokic, what is more realistic options for the Bulls in the next few years? None. Neither. Neither. And honestly, Jokic would probably be, if I had to pick one, it's probably Jokic, but I don't think either. And even with Zion, maybe when he gets like the fact that he's not keeping his body under control it's concerning. Those knees, right? At his size and his weight, it's concerning. So that's all I got to say on that one. As a trade deadline move, would you add Serge Ibaka to the team? I think we need Theis Thad replacement. I feel like Serge would be a good 1-year fit. Again, I think like some of the potential people in the buyout market could be more beneficial to price or to what you may have to give up. That's just my opinion, but I wouldn't be mad at Serge at all being on this team. Zach deserves give him a key to the city. He does what he's had to put. Like really, let's look at what Zach LaVine has had to put up with since he's been here. The coaching changes, the dumbass shit with Boylan, a front office that just couldn't seem to get it right, a change in front office that's finally gotten together, the criticism that he has in just the first couple of years, everything that Zach has been through, and the fact that he's continued. When we think about this, when that Jimmy Butler trade went through in that first season, because of the way that Larry played, people didn't really think that it would have been LaVine that would have turned into the Bulls franchise player. People thought it was going to be Larry, and even to a degree, people thought that Chris Dunn could be something. For him to be the last one standing and to continue to improve every year amongst everything that he had to deal with. Imagine if LaVine had a coach like Donovan since he's been here with that development that he's gone through. We could be talking about him being at an even different level. Absolutely. This is the biggest one. I hate it when the Bulls trade Gafford. And the fact that he's gone, look, just imagine this. Vooch and Gafford. Like, yes, Gafford doesn't give you shit with scoring, right? Well, no, he has been. But I'm sorry, with shooting, he doesn't really give you much. But they are almost the perfect complements to each other because that allows Vooch to go out and do the things he does on the perimeter and the mid-range. We got the offensive. I hate it when the Bulls traded Gafford. I almost pulled out my beard hair. And I know this. My channel is still fairly new. My beard is my prized possession, other than my children. So, like, I hate it when they traded him. I do, and I'm glad to see him doing well, though. I'm glad to see him on the team. I'm glad to see him get the deal that he got. He wouldn't have got that here in Chicago. He just wouldn't have. So, hats off to him. Vooch P. Will, and the first round pick for. Oh man, I don't get stumped very often. I don't know, man. I can't answer it. I can't do that. I'll probably if somebody called me with a gun in my head, say yes or no right now, I would probably say yes, but then I'd probably automatically regret it too. So I don't know, man. I don't know with that one. Let me know what you guys think down below on that one. Who better learn from Nick? Yeah, I agree. And I hope that they're really in there working with each other and he's giving them some guidance. I agree with that as well. When you look at it like this, is that as Vooch starts declining, Marco could be on the rise and they can teach and he can learn and he can groom them. And so I'm not saying that Marco's necessarily going to be our starting center of the future, but if he is, it's definitely going to be because he got to learn from Vooch as long as he did. The front office has given me more hope than the last 6+ years. That could be good or empty hopes. Yeah, they absolutely. And and I trust in them until they prove otherwise. They would have to make and every front office makes questionable deals at some point, but they would have to make a series of them before I lose my trust in AK and Eversley at this point. I agree with this one wholeheartedly, especially when you look at like what Harrison was able to do when he fit in on a super team of the Golden State Warriors before they got KD, and just how he was really the glue guy. And so, like, we know Green was the glue guy for them, but like Harrison gives you a lot of what you need as well. I don't know if he gives you the defense, so to say, but I would like him on this team. I can't deny that. I would love Harrison Barnes on this team. And then also, if we do re-sign him or maybe on a shorter deal to stay here for a little while, Also, Pat Will learning behind Harrison Barnes. That's not something bad for him. Why would you want to trade back? The dude is a monster. People, we Bulls fans PTSD. I don't want to trade Patrick Williams, but I understand why people got him. Yeah, you got me, bro. You got me. You got me on that one. Has AC reached his limit, or is he still improving? I think he kind of is what he is. I think he is what he is, and efficiency wise, he can probably get better. But I think he kind of is what he is. Oh wait, first it was that one, then but yes, that's kind of how I was feeling as well too. Low key, I'm doing that instantly. Okay, hey, and you could very well be right with it. I'm not saying you're wrong. You got to feel bad for Patrick. From everything I heard and saw, he was having a terrific offseason. Then exactly. And like even when you look at his again, like I said about Marco, look at Patrick Williams' body. Even though he came into the league with a very grown man looking like he's ready to stand up to the NBA body, just look at how he improved. So yeah, and I trust Patrick Williams is a gym rat as well. For everyone who's down on Patrick Williams, I really do think he's going to continue to learn. He's going to continue to get better. And I do think I think people get caught up in wanting to see what they think Patrick Williams can be long term. They want to see that now. And it really can be a 3-4 year process before we see the final version of Patrick Williams. He's a 20-year-old kid. Come on. This is what I want to say. Look at the job you had when you were 20 years old, and then look at the job you have in your mid-30s, or even later in your 20s, when you're 28, 29. I started off, for example, as a beverage porter at Busch Stadium before I became an assistant manager and ran the whole Scott Trade Center. So people progress. You got to allow that time. He's still in the prime in his 20s, and I love Zach and Kat. And the thing is that we saw that in Minnesota already. And the thing, Kat is great, but I just don't know, man. I don't know. Harrison would be a great fit. Just the price. Yeah. I agree. Well, the Bulls can easily trade for Harrison Barnes' contract when you look at they can make the numbers fit. It just depends on how bad the Kings want to get out of the deal, because they can offer them expiring contracts that expire next year, so they're not really getting a long-term financial hook by trading Harrison Barnes. So the Bulls can make it happen. It just depends on exactly what Sacramento would want for him. Appreciate that. Yeah, Troy Brown Jr. is super young. That's why I do think he has some trade potential. But just what you saw in him, he started off the season with every opportunity to show that he deserved minutes on here, and he has not played good at all. Now, could he turn that around? Absolutely. Crazier things have happened, but he just hasn't shown it as of right now. I worry Patrick might have a career like Jabari Parker. Great potential, but bad injuries to start. Well, okay, it's one. Let Jabari Parker's injury was a major injury. This one is not an injury that projects to have many long-term effects on his career. So I think that Jabari Parker comparison is a little off to me. I understand why you made it, but to say that you're worried that he may be a player that deals with a lot of injuries, like he was an Iron Man for us last season. He did have a bad start to this season. It happens sometimes. Sometimes players just catch that injury bug, and he just got hit with one after another. But nothing has happened right now to show that none of the injuries that he's gotten are injuries that you worry about being chronic ones that just pop up all the time over his career. So I don't like that comparison. I understand why you made it, but I don't see that for Patrick right now. Go Bulls. Absolutely. That's what it's all about. Do you have fear with Patrick Williams' wrist injury he can end up having more problems like Fultz? I think initially it wasn't a serious injury, but it sounded bad when we learned the full scope. I mean, it's always that chance, right? There's always that chance. I haven't heard or read anything that seems like it's going to be anything chronic or anything that's going to stick with them. But I mean, there is always that chance. I'm not worried about it right now until I hear or see otherwise. If we go into next season and we're like 15, 20 games into the season and we hear about another wrist injury, or God forbid another wrist injury in the offseason next year, okay, then I think it's time to worry. It was absolutely dirty. It was abso-fucking-lutely a dirty play. Absolutely. Most of the development is mental. I also think it's not even just mental. I think when you're out there with players of the stature that Patrick Williams is playing with, it's kind of hard. Like, he's still 20 years old, right? So when you're out there with DeMar DeRozan, who is great, right? When you're out there with Vooch, who has been great in his career, when you're out there with Zach LaVine, when you're out there with Lonzo and the pedigree of Alonzo Ball, it's kind of like, okay, where do I get my spot? I'll be ready when you guys give me the ball, or when even, and we saw a hesitation to shoot it. We didn't see that in the summer league, so I really do. I think it's more about him trying to fit in rather than he doesn't feel comfortable yet demanding the ball. Once that happens, we may see a completely different side of Patrick Williams, because he wasn't ever hesitant to call for the ball in summer league. Now, yes, that's against much worse competition, but I just mean in mindset. And I think if he can bring that mindset and start, and the funny thing is that the game that he went out with injury, he started getting aggressive in that game. So we'll see. My only word with people is timing and development with DeMar and Vooch in their 30s. I think we got to try to win now, or at least okay. Here's the thing. I think specifically DeMar, right? DeMar is here because Patrick Williams wasn't ready, and thank God he was, right? But I think as DeMar declines, Patrick Williams hopefully should be on the rise, and maybe Patrick Williams moves back to the 3. We'll see. Again, you got to even think, if we go 2 years from now, Patrick Williams will be 22 years old. There will still be rookies coming into the league older than him. I mean, the same age, probably a little bit younger, but about the same age as him. So because of that, we really have so much time when it comes to Patrick Williams, really, that even if DeMar plays his whole contract out, which is what, a 3-year contract, okay, Patrick Williams is 23 years old. We still have all of his prime, and hopefully he's learned enough by then. So I don't really think the window is just win now. The Bulls, when they created this team, they have given us a team that can win now, but we still have enough young players on this team that we still have enough to build off in the future. We still, when Vooch and DeMar are old or not playing up to their contracts and no longer here, hopefully we still have LaVine, we still have Zoe, we still have Kobe White, possibly, we still have Patrick Williams, and that's enough to kind of build around. So DJ still very young. So the rest of this team, if they all meld the way that we think they are, the Bulls' future is bright. Vooch and DeMar's window maybe 2 to 3 years, but the Bulls' window, especially with Zach LaVine, if they re-sign him, is really 5 years. So we got plenty of time. Too early, but which team do you guys win in the first round? I always have said this, right? And this was before the Bulls. Like, I would love to see a Charlotte Bulls first round, Ball versus Ball brother. The storylines just in that give me goosebumps. So that's what I would want to see. That's what I would want to see in the first round. I know it's early, but Kobe White, he doesn't, but he shouldn't. He was out of basketball for 5 months, not able to shoot. It's not like he was able to get up shots or even really work on his condition. He wasn't really able to do anything for 5 months. It's going to take a while to get that. Going to take a while to get that rhythm. Anyone remember 80s? Yeah. I remember that. Wasn't it? Was it Stephen A? It was somebody on ESPN who said, I guarantee AD and Derrick Rose play together in Chicago at some point. Shit's never gonna fucking happen. Don't be believing that shit. Sadly, I have to go to bed. It's late in Germany. Love your content. Shout out to I grew up in Germany. I grew up in Mannheim, Germany, in Benjamin Franklin Village, which was a military base, is closed down now. So I know Germany very well, very, very well. We lived in Frankfurt and Mannheim, Germany. So I speak a little bit of German as well. So shout out to you in Germany. Jabari Parker is not a good shooter. I think LeBron will win another shit. If he does, it's because AD's just gone off in the playoffs. I think at this point, LeBron, well, he can take over series, absolutely. He can take over games, absolutely. But I think now whereas he had the luxury of having great players before with him, now it's a must that he has a player like AD there. I think we're starting to see LeBron break down as well. He's had more injury probably the last 2 or 3 years than he had in the first 10 years of his career. So yeah, I don't think it's done. His championship window is not done at all. As long as LeBron is on the team with a player like AD, they can get it together. But Russ on that team was frustrating, man. He wasn't healthy. It was so clear. Pat body this year versus last was completely different. Give the man exactly. Pat has put in some work, man. That dude, he prepared to play the 4. And I think we forget that too, is that he was playing out on the wing last year. He moved down to the 4. He did gain some weight, but it was a different game. It was a different position. It was a different role than what he had even on the Bulls last year. Everything was different for him. And then to have injuries and not really to be able to start your season off on a good foot definitely helped harpened him as well, hampered him, whatever the word is. They just out with all three next to kid. Oh, the Bull. I have a video on that. The Bulls absolutely have. There is an, especially with everything that's going on, depending on health and everything else, the Bulls absolutely have a window to the Eastern Conference Finals. And if I can see them getting there, I can see them possibly getting to a championship. I'm not saying that they'll win it, but there's absolutely a world, I think, in which the Bulls can get to the finals because this team still has room to get better. No, I don't see the Pistons trading Jeremy Grant. If they would, I don't know. It's just the thing. Even if they were, I don't think what they would want back, the Bulls could give and still keep this team as solid all around as what it is. I just don't think so. You guys could disagree, but it's fair. I think, and there goes my husky. Hey Simba. All right. That's my baby. But what do the Pistons would want? I would think first round pick just to start, just to get in the conversation. Maybe a first and a second to get in the conversation. A building piece, a young player. I think it takes a lot to get Jeremy Grant from the Pistons, honestly. That's what I think. I could be wrong, though. Watch me say that, and then trade deadline, they trade him for like 4 seconds. No, they'd be dumb as fuck to do that. You'd be willing to. Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. I don't think so. I don't, but I could be wrong. I don't. I would love that matchup. I would love that. What made me become a Bulls fan? My dad grew up on the south side of Chicago. So I was born a Bulls fan. Some of my earliest pictures is like a baby, like 8, 9 months old, sitting on my dad's lap watching Bulls games. I was born in '86. So yeah, I've literally been a Bulls fan my whole entire life. That's all I can remember. Me and my dad went to a Bulls game when I was 4, and it was like being in Disneyland to me because it was like the sanctuary. So yeah, I've been a Bulls fan my whole entire life. Chicago sports fan in general, which I'm a Sox fan, unfortunately. Bears fan as well. I ran the Scott Trade Center, which is the hockey stadium in St. Louis, for a while, and I loved watching Blackhawks games there. They're just the atmosphere. But I'm a Chicago sports fan through and through. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, Kobe isn't getting traded. I don't believe that either. I don't think Kobe's going to get traded. Can we give some Chicago? Can we give somebody 3 years for it? No, Chicago Bulls fans. No, it's not gonna. Chicago Bulls fans. People have bad 2 games. They're like, let's think about it with Vooch. Let's get him out of here. We got to trade him. We got to trade him for Ben Simmons. Come on, man. I love our fandom, but we be tripping sometimes as a fandom overall. I feel that. What do you think has to go right for us to win the championship this year? I think health for other teams. I think we have to continue to get better and improve. I think Vooch absolutely has to get better, and it depends on what we do at the 4 position. I think if we fix our offensive rebound, think about this. The Bulls are 29th in offensive rebounding, which means that we are not getting a lot of second chances at buckets. If we get an offensive rebounder that ups our second chance opportunities, imagine how much more dynamic that makes our offense. If Lonzo starts hitting anything inside the 3-point range, look at what that does. If Kobe comes and gives, so I think we have a path of already what we have on the team and improvement. But the key thing is if we can improve that offensive rebound and who we bring in there. But I do like don't count the Bulls out at all. And the thing is funny that so many people count the Bulls out of having that chance when you really think about the Bulls are top 10. At one point, we're top 10 in offense and defense. How many teams are that do that don't have a chance at a title? The Bulls absolutely have a chance at a title. Favorite Bulls moment, Jordan era or post Jordan? So post Jordan era was the Bulls and Celtics first round playoff matchup because I was 9. No, I think I was 20 when that series happened. 20 years old. Does that sound about right? That's no. probably more like 22, 23. But that series, just seeing Derrick Rose performing that level and this team performing that level, and that be the moment where people knew fucking Derrick Rose was going to be a star in this league was my favorite moment. My favorite Jordan moment was when he came back. Because that was, I can't remember how old I was there, but when he came back, that whole thing, like the dynamic in my family and my house just completely was like, we're back, baby. And so yeah, that was probably my favorite moment. And also like Jordan's last game, that last championship series, I just whole thing just had this air of just finality to it. But it sucks that they didn't bring that team back. Wilson here from Jersey got my sex. That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. Panama Queen. All right, I'm gonna answer a couple of these. I got to get ready to go out. I'm taking my kids to see the Ghostbusters movie, then we're coming back to watch the Bulls game. So, you think the Lakers are the biggest so far? I would say absolutely so far. Yeah, for sure, for sure. The Bulls through this West Coast stretch have been playing great, even though they've lost a couple of games. They've played great, great, great. I don't think I don't think Chris really gives us what we need. Like, I get why you're saying that, especially since Matt Thomas isn't playing for us, but I don't really think he gives us what we need. And I think he'll just be cut anyway once the Bulls make the deal or get the player on the buyout market that they ultimately want. But that's it for me. You guys have really showed up more than I expected. You have given me absolutely. We'll be doing this more. Look out for this after the game. I will be back live. I promise you guys. After the game is over with tonight, if you guys are still up, I know these West Coast games have been killing me, and we'll continue to have this conversation. Thank you guys. Like, I really can't stress enough. I thank you guys so much for the support and everything that's been going on in this channel so much. Make sure you're following us at Bull Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, or anything if you want me to answer them. bullcentralpod@gmail.com. But that's my time. I will see you guys after the game. I'm out. Like I like to end every video on. Go Bulls. I love you guys. Peace.